Hi guys. So my name is Asher, and on topic of discussion today is anxiety. Um, what do I understand by this? Well, for me, from my point of view, anxiety is intense fear or tenseness over day-to-day situations, day-to-day things, day-to-day activities. It could be social anxiety. It could be separation anxiety. It could be post-traumatic stress disorder. These are normal things. You could feel tense about speaking in public, but then there are those who reach a point where it even turns into a panic attack. So what I understand from anxiety is it's a normal emotion, okay? If you have anxiety, you are in no way a dysfunctional person. It is a normal emotion. It's your brain's way of reacting to stress and alerting you of potential danger ahead. Okay? Yeah, so that's what I understand from anxiety from my point of view. Okay. Apart from that, there's been so many misconceptions about anxiety. People think of it as a show of weakness. People think if you have anxiety, you can snap at any time. You're extremely unpredictable. I've had cases where I went into a panic attack, and let's just say they didn't know how to respond to it. And they made it look like, oh, I've gone crazy, or I was having an asthmatic attack, which one person said. But at the end of the day, it's not the case. Okay, so common things I've heard people say when you talk about anxiety is, oh, you're attention seeking, because everybody these days is depressed or has some mental disorder that they're having a hard time fixing or going through, which is not the case. You could be going through a really tough time, but because of how it has been framed into normality, people don't really pay attention to it. Anxiety is not a sign of weakness. It is okay to express yourself. It is okay to be afraid. It is okay to be tense. It is okay to be worried about a situation. It is okay to be uncomfortable. So those are some of the things I've heard people say. Everybody has anxiety. We're all self-diagnosing these days. People, teenagers, they've got nothing better to do. You listen to 3 Billie Eilish songs and you think you know what anxiety and depression is. And I'm like, okay, brutal, but that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But it's not. It's not a fashion standard, okay? It is not a norm that people have just adopted. This is an emotion. This is a disorder that comes because of what people have gone through, what they've experienced. And it gets really heartbreaking when you're trying to express yourself and talk to somebody and they just peg it as you wanting to seek attention, or you wanting approval, or you wanting love, or you wanting something from them, when really you're just trying to reach out and you're screaming on the inside. If you have a friend that is either bipolar, has anxiety, or they are depressed, and you know to say you do not know enough about a situation, don't say anything. Find enough information about the situation. Study, do some research, Google, do anything that you can to get adequate information. I feel like the response to mental health, especially in today's time, is it's normal to be depressed. It's normal to be stressed. It's normal to be sad. It's normal to be unhappy. It's not. It's not. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay not to be okay, but do not conform it as normality. It is not normal. If you feel like you do not have the adequate advice to give to somebody, please research, ask for advice from people who you feel have a better perspective of the situation. Do not be quick to tell them you just want attention. You are just attention seeking. We know this guy. He behaves like this all the time. No. Your friend could literally be talking to you as their last resort before they do something drastical. I feel like people these days, like I have said several times, is they've conformed this as normality. Somebody could be crying today and laughing a few seconds later, and they're like, it's normal. She does that. That's just how she is. Or that's just how he is. It's not. So if you feel and you know to say you do not have enough knowledge about what the person has reached out to you about, If it means you hugging them, hug them. If it means you saying, yo, I don't know how to help, but I'm here and I'm listening and I can tell you we'll get through this together, say that. Do not judge them. Do not make them feel like you made a mistake by talking to this person. Obviously, you should have just kept quiet and went back into that little corner that you've dug for yourself. Do not do that. That is the worst thing you can ever do to somebody who reaches out to you, because you never know. You might have been the last person they wanted to tell, and they were hoping to say whatever you would say would be enough to change their mind, to not, put their head through that noose, to not take that blade and slice their wrists. You might have been their last alternative, and because you've given them words that haven't really encouraged them, they might go down that road. I'm not saying be responsible for everything that somebody else does. I'm saying if you do not have enough knowledgeable advice on a situation, research, study, find out, get information, update yourself, and be kind. You never know what somebody is going through despite the smile on their face. I went to extreme lengths because people that I would tell about what I was going through never really understood, and their responses just pushed me further into the hole that I was in. I suffer from separation anxiety and post-traumatic disorder. What happened to me is when I was 13, I was assaulted by the person I was dating. This guy was 19. The setting wasn't provocational in any way. It was at an event. We were celebrating a family member's achievement, and then when everybody had gone and we were supposed to clean up, we had this discussion because there was a misunderstanding between us, and then he was drunk. And usually when I sit down and think about it, to say I could have overpowered a drunk person, but I didn't. And for a long time, I blamed myself for that. Because even after I begged him, even after I tried to plead with him, to tell him to say, look, what you're doing is wrong. We can go about the situation differently. You don't have to force me. We can wait. He beat me into silence. So when all that was done, the person who was keeping me at the time didn't know how to break the news off to my parents. And I don't know whether they told them or not, but looking at the way I got very little response, it means they didn't, because everything was pegged as okay. And when I regained consciousness and everything was done, I remember the first thing this person told to me was, you can't tell anybody. How will people look at you? This is shameful. Nobody should know. You're fine now. You're going to heal. Just telling me to say, oh, hey, you know what? It's just another day. You're going to be fine. And I took their words because they were older than me. And as time went by, I began to realize to say I wasn't okay. I'd spend my nights crying myself to sleep because I didn't understand why somebody would do that to me and why they were never persecuted. Secondly, I started looking for ways to just silence the memories and the images in my head. At some point I'd walk into the bathroom and just thought, it wouldn't be a bad idea to drown. It wouldn't be a bad idea to stop breathing. Nobody would miss me. But it was the image of my mom that kept me going for a very long time. But I never really opened up to anyone, and the people that I was staying with didn't seem to care at all. So 2 years down the line, and normal school going girl, trying to get by, trying to have a good social standing with people. I was at a party again with a couple of friends of mine, and I had no idea what was happening. Then the smell of alcohol caught me, and instantly images of the whole thing that had happened came back. I started hyperventilating. I started shaking. I couldn't breathe. My vision was blurry. And then people that were around me thought I'm having a seizure. And some said, oh, she's possessed. And after that experience, after having a panic attack in public and seeing how people reacted, I felt like a freak. I felt like, I could never fit in anywhere. I felt like I'm a monster, and I resorted to so many different ways. I pushed people away. I built walls. I became a bully because I was afraid anybody who would ever walk into my life and know what had happened to me would automatically judge me like everybody else judged me. It reached a point where I couldn't cope anymore, and I attempted to end my own life 3 times. Every time I would begin the process, it was always the image of people that had formed bonds with me, my mom, my sister, that would stick in my head, and I would stop. And there was always this small voice in the back of my head saying, I got you, I'm not done with you, you can't do this, we have a long way to go. So if you're out there and you feel like there's nobody who's going to understand what you're going through, there's nobody who understands the pain that you're in, there is. Don't stop reaching out to people. Don't stop talking. Don't close yourself off. Don't listen to those thoughts that tell you you're imperfect, you're impure, nobody will ever love you. They're all lies. Somebody will love you. I'm here. I don't know you, but I do love you. I do love the fact that you're listening in, the fact that you're holding on, the fact that you're still going. So don't give up. Don't give up. There's so much more. You are a gem. You are a diamond that is being built under the pressure that you're going through. Do not waver. For me, after I got counseling, the first thing that they taught me was 5 steps, to deal with a panic attack. Acknowledge the situation is the fifth, because we count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Acknowledge the fact that you're having a panic attack. That is the hardest thing to do, because it just happens. So 5 things. Firstly, acknowledge the fact that you're having a panic attack. 4 things you can touch. It could be your hair, it could be your hoodie, it could be your jeans, it could be the phone in your hands, it could be your knees. Find 4 things you can touch. Then find 3 things you can hear. Is it water dripping down a faucet? Is it footsteps? Is it birds? 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can taste. Is it the gum you're chewing in your mouth? Is it something that you had for lunch? And then 1, open your eyes and find the thing you can see. It doesn't matter what order you put them in, as long as you do these 5 things, believe you me, they do help. And they've helped me. Do not stop talking to people. If you are here, if you're listening in, and you are going through a tough time and you feel like you can't talk to anybody about it, you can. There are people out there who will help you, people who understand your situation, people who've gone through similar experiences. I honestly thought nobody would ever love a girl who forcefully lost her virginity. Nobody would ever want to be next to somebody who literally saw to say this person is about to take advantage of you, and they didn't fight back. For a long time, I felt like I was weak. And I wrapped myself in false confidence, hoping to say nobody would ever be able to see through the facade. But I have friends, genuine friends, who have helped me, people who love God, and people who've shown me to say, you know what? It's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the tunnel. There is the light at the end of this tunnel that you are in, and things do get better. Surround yourself with people who will not judge you. And I know it is hard to find people like that, but do not stop searching. Don't give up. Don't stop searching. Don't stop expressing yourself. The more you talk about it, the easier it becomes to deal with, because you're telling somebody and you're offloading the burden that you have on somebody, and this somebody is going to help you.